Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano is targeting a 50-year development plan that will fast-track economic and social transformation of the state. The governor revealed this during a two-day retreat for members of the Anambra State Executive Council in Awka, tagged setting the tone for the next 4 years.
Some members of the new Executive Council of Anambra State quickened their steps to meet up with a 9 o'clock resumption time for a two-day retreat with a theme, setting the tone for the next 4 years. The retreat, which also has in attendance the state governor, Willie Obiano, and heads of government parastatals, departments and agencies, is geared towards taking the participants through various aspects of the vision of the present administration.
The third broad objective is to review how well we did the last time. If you don't know where you're coming from, you probably won't know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, any road can take you there. And you will say, hey, I've arrived. Where is that place you arrived? So we will talk about yesterday the lessons we've learned from a technical point of view.
In the process we are going to start very soon.
Addressing the participants, the governor announces that his administration places premium on excellence, which necessitated the retreat to ensure that the new appointees are in the right frame of mind to work towards achieving success.
We do a 50-year deployment plan where future administrators, governors, when they can still do whatever they like within the ambit, but they're not going to materially derail from that. That is the fastest way, in my view, to reposition ourselves to be number one in Africa.
At the end of the first session, some of the resource persons speak on their expectations for the next 4 years.
All of us, the ordinary people of Anambra, have cause to be very optimistic and expectant that the way the Americans will say, you ain't seen nothing yet, that Anambra will go to the next level.
I've had the opportunity to speak and discuss with the governor. I know he has big plans for tourism, he has big plans for healthcare, he has big plans for education, and he has big plans for infrastructure.
With their knowledge of the plan and strategies of the present administration, the new state executive members and those in the various ministries, departments and agencies are expected to drive an effective workforce that will bring about sustainable development and transformation in Anambra State.
Following the uproar that greeted the news of the marriage of two siblings, 23-year-old Cornelius and 16-year-old Martha Ezebekwe in Ekulobia in Anambra State, Nigeria, a cleansing ceremony has been performed by the church in the community. The purification exercise was witnessed by traditional rulers and members of the community. It will be recalled that the couple were married by their elder brother, who claimed to have received a divine directive.
The scandal that shook not just Anambra State, but the entire nation. The relatively unknown town of Ekulobia stirred emotions with the news that two siblings became too close for comfort by getting married.
It's unheard of.
Many called for the couple and family to be banished from the community.
What happened in Ekulobia here is alo. It's what we call alo in Igbo land, a taboo, a sacrilege. We urge traditional rulers, we urge people who know the culture and tradition of our people to begin to educate our people. It appears we are eroding our tradition.
But the traditional rulers and the church are taking a less drastic approach.
Some other people would have decided on banishment, banish them from this town. But if you banish them, the sin they committed is already there. So the best way out, like we decided, it won't happen again, but in case it happens again, this is still the way we are going to follow it.
The cleansing ceremony is what has been decided, and the entire community has come to witness it. As the little girls prepare the ground, the priest moves through the compound and its outer surroundings with a canister of smoke and holy water. to ward off the evil spirits believed to be tormenting the family. The ceremony is also meant to remove any backlash the act might have on the community.
To emphasize on the social effect of sin.
The priest speaks to the crowd, asking them not to push the family away, but see the issue as being a larger problem where all are liable.
If a transgressor is brought to the public, everyone looks at him as the only evil person. But everyone is a transgressor. We have come to carry our reparation.
After the ceremony, the Ezebekwe family comes out to publicly denounce the act to the chair of the onlookers.
The act is believed to be an abomination, and in my heart, I concede it's an abomination.
I perceive that they are happy about what happened, and I'm promising them to hear such thing again from my mind.
For the community, this purification exercise is a step in the right direction of forgiveness. And the hope and pray this matter never resurfaces again.
In Delta State, the people of Tuomo in Burutu local government area have called on the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, and government at all levels to come to their rescue after a life-threatening landslide hit their community a few days ago. According to some of the community leaders, the situation requires proactive measures before the rainy season sets in to prevent the remaining parts of the community from being swept away.
This is the life-threatening situation the people of Tuomo, one of the ancient oil-bearing Ijaw communities in Burutu local government area of Delta State, woke up to a few days ago.
Yeah, my mother sleeps here. I and my other brothers sleep at the back. We still have 2 rooms at the back, but now not in the inside. All of us are outside.
For some others, life must go on, while children play around, ignorant and completely oblivious of the danger that lies ahead. The NDDC had initiated the construction piling sheets to serve as a shoreline protection against flooding and erosion. But from what we see here, it appears this is a failed project.
It's sudden that day for yesterday, as we are all around, we had a noise, very heavy noise. And as we came out around 4:30 to 5, we saw within that 1 hour, we saw this heavy breakout.
An environmental scientist argues that the sand mining activities of the contractors may have contributed to the disaster.
From my findings, I discovered that no environmental impact assessment was made before several million tons of sand was extracted from this place. This shoreline protection has already been done before that incident.
A Delta State House of Assembly member pleads with the people to be patient.
I will want to appeal first of all to the community to remain calm, because from what we have seen today, we are going to pass the information to the state government and also to the federal government, who also, through one of the intervention agencies, which is the NDDC, are the ones that gave the contractor this job that they are doing presently.
The Niger Delta region is naturally prone to erosion and landslides. But for this community, their fear is that once the rain sets in, the community may be completely washed away and submerged by water. All they seek is for governments to come to their aid before it's too late.
The walls and gates of the ancient city of Kano dates back to over 1,000 years. Established by the then Emir of Kano, Jijimasu, between 1095 to 1134, the wall was once described as one of the most impressive monuments in Africa by the then Governor-General of Northern Nigeria, Lord Lugard. On our community report tonight, our correspondent Idris Jibrin examines why Kano's iconic historical monument has not made it to the list of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites.
As a center for Islamic learning and scholarship, Kano is part of the 7 world cities that made up the Hausa Fulani Kingdom of northern Nigeria. The city's wall, built between 1095 and 1134 by the then Emir of Kano Gijimasu, is about 15 meters or 50 feet high, with 15 gates around it, made up of the Dala Hill, the Kurmi Market, the Emir's Palace, and the 500-year-old Dye Pit for the defense of its people.
In 1903, when the colonial masters came down to Kano, took over power in that particular year, they found that the whole Kano was surrounded with this wall, and it was closed. There was no exit, so they broke their entry into Kano through this particular gate in 90 years and took over power.
The Kano's 15th century famous Kurmi market tells the story of how merchants from around the world traded in Kano for generations, while the city wall and gates help protect it as a commercial hub of northern Nigeria. As far back as 10th century, this is called Kofargadenka, where the residents used to pass through these gates to their respective communities. But today, it has been transformed into a modern design. But it appears nature and human activities have not been kind to this wonderful historical site. 80% of the wall is almost gone. Illegal structures erected around it and other encouragement on the city wall seems to have marred its beauty and prevented it from being listed as UNESCO World Heritage Site.
The problem is the level of encroachment. If you have gone around the city wall and see it yourself, more than 80% of the wall has disappeared. We are managing the remaining 20% for the unborn generation to come and see.
The Kano city wall and gates still retain its social values in terms of individual or collective identity, as the residents still identify themselves in relation to the location of their gates within the city. However, faced with the competition from imported fabrics sold at the popular contemporary textile market, these 500-year-old dye pits now appears almost useless, although it remains popular among locals and tourists. As the residents grappled with the reality of fading glory of Kano city wall and gates, there have been attempts by some concerned authorities toward rebuilding some of the gates. The Emir's Asian Palace is undergoing rehabilitation. Nevertheless, modern structures are fast replacing the last peaceful reminders of its glorious past. It was at the foot of this hill that the Emir of Kano Gijimasu first started building the wall. Visitors still do come here every year for traditional ceremonies, but there are no more guards or gates to protect it, not even a sign to mark it. However, the expectations of most Kano people is that efforts toward preservation, protection, and promotion of Kano city wall and gates needs to be undertaken quickly. Otherwise, history will be harsh and unkind to the present generation of Kano people and indeed northern Nigerians. Idris Jubrin, Channels Television News.
Definitely a place to watch out for. And now to the arts. Stand Out 2 is an exhibition by a group of female artists at the Wheat Baker in Lagos. The artists talk about the challenges they go through in their careers and how they are able to break barriers with their art. That's on Art Review tonight.
The works of art produced by Nigerian women stand shoulder to shoulder. The shining stars in this group exhibition titled Stand Out 2, which took place at the Wheat Baker in Lagos.
It's the second exhibition of female artists that I am curating, and it just shows the resilience, the strength, the creativity, the amazing expression that we have by female artists. So we have mixed media works, we have poetry, we have photography, we have paintings, and we even have an incredible installation of beads, ceramic beads, and thin nylon thread.
There's so many stories that we want to tell the world, but we tend to hold everything back. But yet, there's still that part of us that I wish I can tell the next person beside me what I'm going through. But right now, I just stand as that channel to let you say so much. Just say so much through your artworks. Just looking at it and just feeling like, oh, I know I have so much to give.
In Nigeria of today, it's no longer a man thing to bring food to the table. It's both a man and a woman thing. You don't just sit at home as a woman and wait for the supply or for a manna. So everybody goes around to make money and make the family comfortable. That's why you see the woman with her wares and the man who is an Okada rider. You know, they are very resilient and very hardworking. They go about going to different places. This is just an example of an hardworking man. I don't want to represent an hardworking man using someone in the office or in a suit or whatever. A man that brings food to the table, that goes about, bringing money to the family is hardworking.
The artists work on diverse media and capture subjects that not only affect their gender, but the society as well.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Ferrari Formula One driver Sebastian Vettel wins a dramatic Australian Grand Prix after leapfrogging Lewis Hamilton during a safety car period in Melbourne. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.